This is OpenAir Live and Local, the music video show that highlights the sounds being created across the state, and we are on location in Colorado Springs. I'm your host, Alisha Sweeney. Colorado has a remarkable music scene that goes well beyond Denver, and for this episode, we get the help of music writer Heather Powell Brown to be our music guide. I'd like to introduce you to her now. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Alisha.
So we have a lot of ground to cover today for the city of Colorado Springs. Heather's been an advocate of the art scene in Colorado for more than a decade and joins us to curate an evening of exciting acts from the city, as well as tell us what the music scene is like here in Colorado Springs. So let's take a look back. 2005 is when you moved here and you started up your blog, Fuel Friends. What was your impression of the scene back then?
Well, when I started Fuel Friends, I was really looking to connect with music. I had just moved here from the San Francisco Bay Area. And I found I would go up to Denver and Boulder a lot for shows. So I didn't know a lot about the music scene here. It was not as vibrant, I think, as it is now. It might have been, but I didn't know about it. And so when I would go up to Denver and Boulder, I'd go to lots of shows, a couple times a week. And I would find that people would often, when they found out that I was from Colorado Springs, they would kind of pause and then be like, oh, how is that? With a distasteful, like I had just told them I had a terminal disease or something. And so I think it's changed a lot. I started to become curious about what I was missing in Colorado Springs, like where were all the cool shows? And so seeking out what we have here and seeing how the fact that sometimes we do exist a little bit under the radar, or we historically have, I think has allowed music to flourish here in ways that would probably maybe surprise some people in the rest of the state.
So fast forward to 2018, tell me about your impressions of Colorado Springs now. You said you've seen it grow, it's become so vibrant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that what I see now is an absolutely wonderful town for music. There's a really vibrant, collaborative energy going on in the city. I think that because we do get to fly under the radar a little bit, that there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration and excitement in the music that's being created here. There's a lot of do-it-yourself vibe, I think, in Colorado Springs.
I want to get more into that DIY ethos of Colorado Springs, but first, music. Heather has curated what I would call an exceptional lineup of diverse talent from the city, and on deck is Gwen Wolfenbarger, who records as Sea Legs, or Sea Legs. This is an artist I didn't know about until you told me about her. So tell me a little bit more about this artist as we introduce it to our viewers.
She is creating phenomenal music that is I'm excited that you guys get to see it transfixing live, that people sit there with their mouths open because she creates these loops of sound that are very glacially paced and grow slowly, but that really have this deep emotional resonance with it. And I feel that is a surprising thing. It's not something that you would often think of a sound like that coming out of Colorado Springs. It's complex, it's layered, it's phenomenal. So I'm excited for you guys to get to see Gwen.
This is a great music discovery. On location at the Tim Gill Center for Public Media, here's Sea Legs. Such a moving performance from Seal Legs. It's the song One Day. This is Open Air Live and Local on the road in Colorado Springs. I'm joined by Heather Powell Brown, our music guide, who's curated this episode to introduce us to some exciting artists making music here. Seal Legs also plays the harp, too.
Yeah, a multi-talented person who, as you saw, I mean, I was just blown away by all the layers in that song and the use of different voices. I found myself really thinking about how one person can be so many voices all at once and so many layers and things all at once. And I think that was a performance that really shows the depth and all the different things happening at the same time in her music.
As we get to know Colorado Springs and the music community more, this is a beautiful city. It's scenic, has a charming downtown. The base of Pikes Peak is just miles away. Its population, 450,000. It's home to a few colleges, the Air Force, lots of families. So all that said, how does someone who loves music discover what to see in the area?
Well, I think especially lately, I've been so impressed with all of the interesting visible collaborations popping up. Colorado Springs downtown is now classified as a Colorado Creative District, and I think with that, since 2014, we've seen a big growth in the surprising and visible ways that music has popped up in non-traditional venues and art galleries and spaces across, specifically the downtown, but across the city, where you could look something up in the paper, you could see something online, you could see something through the advertising for one of our arts organizations. And so it's finding new music, to me, seems easier than ever, even if they are in non-traditional places.
So it's so true, there is this huge eclectic scene, and you've curated an eclectic night for us. Who's up next?
Well, so the next person is somebody that listeners around the state may have heard of in the past. So Grant Sabin is the next artist. He is a fixture in Colorado Springs, I think, and across the state. He plays a ton. He's only 26, 27, but he's been playing music since he was, I think, 12 years old. Many listeners and people that listen to the radio or have gone to festivals across the state may have seen him and his Delta blues out and about.
Well, let's see him now. Here's bluesman and Colorado Springs native Grant Sabin on Open Air Live and Local.
I don't know what street I'm on, walking home, baby, wish I could lean on. And I don't know which way we're going, but I know I'm going with you, baby. Walking slow in the snow to you, baby. And I don't know if I'm dreaming or walking home, baby, so I can dream on you. I don't know what's going on, but I know I could never dream you up, baby. I'm walking slow in the snow to you, baby. Spring water, baby, floods my head. Every time I close my eyes, I can't tell you no lies. So I'll say I don't know where we're going, but I know I'm going with you, baby. Walking home, walking slow in the snow to you, baby. Walking home, walking slow in the snow to you, baby.
That's Walking Home from Grant Sabin on OpenAir Live and Local, and we are on location in his hometown, Colorado Springs, with our local music guide, Heather Powell Brown. So what an exciting performer. He's been doing this since he was like a teenager, right? His dad was a musician, so he's following in the family footsteps.
One thing I appreciate about Grant is that he's done a lot of learning from old greats. So blues musicians, he's done traveling to the American Southeast, and he's learned about Delta blues and hill country blues, and his dad makes some of his guitars, if not all of his guitars. And so there's really a depth to his sound that it sounds a lot older than I think he is.
And I want to get back to something you said. You talked about how collaborative the music scene is here. And the next group that we're going to hear from is one that formed on election night 2016 at a Courtney Barnett concert in Denver. They were all attending it. They were all feeling the things after the performance from Courtney Barnett and the results of the election. So this is a band that has some seasoned performers in it. And they're a new group. Tell me about Spirettes.
So the term supergroup comes to mind when I think about Spirettes. Not only are they each super performers in their own right, but they're in bands around town that have done various kinds of music over the years. And they are formed, out of a powerful moment. But what they make together is really phenomenal to see, I think. There's a ferocity and an urgency to the music that they're making, which I really appreciate and I identify with. So I think that they're really making some exceptional music together. I'm really glad to see the creative energy that comes from this supergroup. And so I'm excited to bring them to you guys as well.
Well, let's rock out with them now. This is Spirettes with their tune Records on OpenAir Live and Local.
You there, it's emotional.
That's Spirits, whom I would call a must-get-to-know band out of Colorado Springs here on Open Air Live and Local. You're right, this is a super group, and these girls are doing so much for the music scene. It seems they all work in the arts in the city and are just creating cool things. I can't wait to hear more music from them. This is Heather Powell Brown. She's been our music guide for this episode. We've been hanging out in Colorado Springs at the Tim Gill Center for Public Media. And before we go, Heather, one last question for you. I know the city's growing, you're seeing change. What do you hope for the arts scene here?
We've got a lot of people moving here, actually, and so the city itself is growing, which is always good for a vibrant scene. I think another thing is that despite the growth and the vibrancy of our art scene here, we don't see the same kind of stratification between genres and music scenes that you might see in other cities. And that's also exciting to me. That's a sign of a healthy musical and artistic community. So it's neat to see those surprising collaborations happen, where there's, like tonight, where we saw many different bands. They all know each other. They all have probably played gigs together. So it's neat to see that the boundaries, even as the city continues to grow and thrive, that I haven't seen those walls come up. And that's exciting, because I think that the walls aren't healthy. So it's a good time to be a musician in Colorado Springs.
Thank you so much, Heather, for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
This has been so awesome, and thanks to all the bands for sharing their music with us throughout this half hour. To see and hear more from the bands featured in this episode and an extended conversation with my music guide, as well as interviews with our featured artists, search On the Road over at cpr.org. I'm Alisha Sweeney, and thanks to CPT 12 for their support of the local music scene.